I'm Julia Sondu, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us. Between North and South Korea, 2024 begins under high tension. On Friday, North Korea fired 192 shells into the Yellow Sea, in the buffer zone that separates it from the south, forcing Seoul to shelter the inhabitants of 2 islands. This show of force follows a record number of missile launches by Pyongyang in 2023. 2023 was marked by an escalation in tensions that South Korean Unification Minister Kim Jong-ho attributed, on Saturday, January 6, to the North's desire to divert the population's discontent to economic problems. The previous day, Matthew Miller, spokesperson for the U.S. State Department, was quoted by South Korea's Yonhap news agency as saying that the United States had no hostile intentions towards North Korea. Washington called on Pyongyang to refrain from further provocative, destabilizing actions and return to diplomacy in order to discuss ways to manage military risks and create lasting peace on the Korean peninsula. Miller was speaking after intense exchanges of fire in the Yellow Sea. On Friday, North Korea fired 192 shells from the Jangsan and Deungsan Capes in the southwest of the country, which landed in the buffer zone north of the Northern Limit Line, NLL, the de facto inter-Korean border in the Yellow Sea. This zone has been the scene of several clashes in the past, notably when North Korea bombed the nearby South Korean island of Yeonpyeong in 2010. On Saturday, North Korea conducted another round of artillery drills near the disputed sea boundary with South Korea. The gunfire this Friday prompted Seoul to issue alerts not only in Yeonpyeong, but also in Baekmyong, also next door to the NLL, so that residents could seek shelter. Shipping services were briefly suspended. On Friday afternoon, South Korean troops based on both islands retaliated by firing K-9 howitzers and K-1E-1 tanks in the waters south of the NLL, still in the buffer zone. The firing by North Korea caused no civilian or military damage in the south, South Korea's military said. This is an act of provocation that escalates tension and threatens peace on the Korean peninsula, South Korea's defense minister Shin Won-sik said as he supervised the firing drills. The North Korean artillery shells all landed on the northern side of the sea border, a South Korean military spokesman Lee Sung-joon said in a news briefing, adding that the South Korean military has been monitoring the North's moves along its shores with the cooperation of the U.S. military. South Korea's defense ministry said Marine brigades based on the Yeonpyeong and Baekmyong islands fired at sea to the south of the NLL border, demonstrating overwhelming operational response. The South Korean drills involved mechanized artillery and tanks. North Korea's Army General Staff said its defensive coastal units fired 192 rounds as part of its drills, as natural response by our military against military actions by South Korea's military gangsters, the official KCNA news agency reported. The drills had no impact on South Korean islands near the maritime border as claimed by the South, the statement said, calling the assertion an attempt to mislead public opinion. Disputed waters. China, which is North Korea's main political ally, urged restraint and called on the two sides to resume dialogue. Yeonpyeong is home to just over 2,000 residents and troops stationed there, about 120 kilometers, 75 miles, west of Seoul and accessed by ferries that take more than 2.5 hours. Leif Erik Easley, professor of international studies at Ifa University in Seoul, said it was not unusual for North Korea to fire artillery in the area during winter drills. What's different this year is Kim Jong-un has publicly disavowed reconciliation and unification with the South, he said. In remarks to a major party meeting last week, the North Korean leader said unification with the South was not possible and Pyongyang was fundamentally changing its policy towards the South, which it now sees as an enemy state. The waters near the disputed NLL have been the site of several deadly clashes between the North and South Korea, including battles involving warships and the sinking of a South Korean corvette in 2010 by what is believed to be a North Korean torpedo. In November 2010, North Korean artillery fired several dozen rounds at Yeonpyeong Island, 2 soldiers and 2 civilians, in one of the heaviest attacks on its neighbor since the Korean War ended in 1953. North Korea said at the time it was provoked into taking action by South Korean live fire drills that dropped shells into its territorial waters. Drawn up at the end of the Korean War as an unofficial border, Pyongyang did not dispute the NLL until in the 1970s, when it began violating the line and arguing for a border further to the south. Residents of Baeknyong Island, which lies far to the west of Yeonpyeong and also near the sea border, were also told to seek shelter on Friday. Its population is about 4,900. North Korea has warned in recent days that the situation on the Korean peninsula is spiraling towards war because of dangerous moves by the US and South Korean militaries. Both Koreas have vowed crushing military responses if attacked. In November, the North declared an agreement signed in 2018 aimed at de-escalating tension and preventing accidental outbreak of fighting was no longer valid, after the South said it would resume drills near the border. The two sides had agreed to cease military drills near the border, including the sea borders off the west and east coasts. Korean War started since 1950. North Korea invaded the South on the 25th of June 1950 and swiftly overran most of the country. In September 1950, the United Nations force, led by the United States, intervened to defend the South and advanced into North Korea. As they neared the border with China, Chinese forces intervened on behalf of North Korea, shifting the balance of the war again. Fighting ended on the 27th of July 1953, with an armistice that approximately restored the original boundaries between North and South Korea. Syngman Rhee refused to sign the armistice, but reluctantly agreed to abide by it. The armistice inaugurated an official ceasefire but did not lead to a peace treaty. It established the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, a buffer zone between the two sides, that intersected the 38th parallel but did not follow it. North Korea has announced that it will no longer abide by the armistice at least 6 times, in the years 1994, 1996, 2003, 2006, 2009, and 2013. On Friday, 5th of January 2024, North Korea fired 192 shells into the Yellow Sea, in the buffer zone that separates it from the south, forcing Seoul to shelter the inhabitants of 2 islands. This show of force follows a record number of missile launches by Pyongyang in 2023. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.